Welcome to Inspire the Next Mind by Fazus.ai.
All right, let's get right into it. So, you've built a fantastic product. You've poured months, maybe even years into it. It's smart, it's beautiful, it solves a real problem, and then you launch. And nothing. Just crickets. It's a founder's worst nightmare, and honestly, it happens all the time.
And here's why. It comes down to this really simple but really important truth. A great product, all by itself, isn't enough. It's only half the battle. The other half, the part that actually builds a business, is figuring out how to get people to find it, understand why they need it, and, actually pay for it. So that's what we're going to break down in this explainer, that other half. We're going to start with this idea of a go-to-market engine. Then we'll look at its three key parts: the fuel, the intake, and the drivetrain. And finally, we'll see how it all fits together to create a business that can actually grow. So let's start with that big idea. We're calling it the founder's other half. What we're really talking about is your go-to-market engine. So what in the world is a GTM engine? Well, let's be clear, it's not just doing some marketing here and there. It's a whole system, a cohesive three-part system. And look at what it's designed to do: find, attract, and convert your ideal customers. But the key words here are profitably and repeatably. It's about building a predictable machine that brings in customers, not just hoping they show up. And I love this metaphor because it just makes so much sense. Every engine has three core parts, right? First, you've got the fuel. That's your core message, your unique value proposition. Then you have the intake, which is your marketing, pulling in leads like air. And finally, you have the drivetrain. That's sales, turning all that potential into actual revenue. If any one of these parts breaks, the whole engine just stalls out. Okay, so let's start with the absolute foundation of the entire system. Part 1, the fuel. This is all about crafting a killer unique value proposition, or UVP. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with this one question. Before you spend $1 on ads, before you write a single email, you have to have a rock-solid answer to this. Why should anyone care? If your answer isn't clear and compelling, well, nothing else you do is going to work. So what makes a UVP strong? It's really these three things. First, it has to be unique. Why should they choose you over anyone else? Second, it's got to be valuable. It means to solve a problem that is either really painful, really urgent, or really expensive for your customer. And third, it has to be a real proposition, a clear, believable promise of a specific result, not just a list of features. And this is the perfect illustration. Look at that weak UVP. It's just a bunch of buzzwords that sound fancy but mean absolutely nothing. AI-powered synergistic solution. What is that? It just creates confusion. But then you look at Stripe's payment processing for developers. Bam! 2 seconds, you know exactly what it is and who it's for. That's clarity. That's power. All right, so you've got your fuel, your super clear UVP. Now it's time to build the second part of the engine, the intake. This is all about building your lead generation funnel. Now, this is a huge mindset shift that a lot of founders need to make. For a startup, the main goal of marketing isn't some fuzzy idea like brand awareness. The goal is something you can actually measure, generating qualified leads for your sales team to talk to. That's it. So, this all starts at the top of the funnel. People call it tofu. And the goal here is pretty simple. Attract the right kind of people. These are folks who feel the pain your product solves, but they have no idea you even exist yet. So you're not selling, you're teaching. You're giving them value with things like blog posts or helpful videos. Next up, you've got the middle of the funnel, or MOFU. This is where the magic happens. A random visitor becomes a real potential customer. You do this by offering them something really valuable, like a free webinar or an in-depth guide, in exchange for their email address. They're giving you permission to keep talking to them. And finally, we get to the bottom of the funnel, BOFU. At this point, your only job is to build trust and prove that you can actually solve their problem. You use things like case studies, demos, testimonials, anything that provides proof, until they're warmed up and ready to have a real conversation with sales. Okay, so marketing did its job. A qualified lead is here. Now it's time to engage the drivetrain. This is part 3, the sales process. This is where we close the deal.
I absolutely love this way of thinking about sales because it completely changes the game. Forget the old stereotype of the pushy used car salesman. Today's great salesperson is more like a doctor. Their first job isn't to pitch, it's to listen and to diagnose the customer's pain. And that doctor mindset leads to this really natural three-step process. First is discovery. You ask smart questions to really understand the problem and how much it's costing them. Then the demonstration. And here, you're not just showing features, you're connecting your solution directly to the specific pain you just uncovered. If you nail those first two steps, closing isn't some awkward, high-pressure moment. It's just the logical, natural next step.
So we have our fuel, our intake, and our drivetrain, but none of them work in isolation. Now for the most important part, putting the whole engine together so you can create a business that can truly scale.
You know, this right here is basically a troubleshooting guide for your business. It shows you just how connected everything is. If your sales team is complaining that the leads are bad, guess what? That's not a sales problem. That's a marketing problem. If marketing is getting a ton of traffic but nobody is signing up, that's not a marketing problem. That's a UVP problem. See? It all has to be in sync.
And that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? When all three of these parts are humming along in perfect harmony. Your message is clear, your marketing is bringing in the right people, and your sales process is converting them efficiently. You've done it. You don't just have a cool product anymore. You have a real, predictable, scalable business. A machine that can grow.
So when you think about it, building the product was just the first step. That was like turning the key in the ignition. But this go-to-market engine, this is what actually puts the car in drive and makes it go. So that leaves us with one last question to really think about. Your product is built, but is your engine ready to run?